Yo, 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 what's going on to the gambling community, the boys and the girls? What's going on, man? Today is January the 6th, 2022. This is another edition of the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show. Uh, if you guys are new, my name's Chris. I handicap NBA games, try to bring value to the community. It's always free. And it's always it's typically 5:15 Eastern time, Monday through Friday. On the weekends, time does vary, but I typically do shows as well. So hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the videos. I am live on YouTube. I'm also live on Twitter Space as well. And let's get into it. Real quick recap of yesterday. Pretty solid day. I was on Boston first half minus a 2.5 that cashed. John Morant over his 28.5 points also cashed in the game against the Orlando Magic. And the Denver Nuggets and the Clipper game was a catastrophe, to say the least. I was also official on Jokic over his 38.5 rebounds plus assists. I think it was 38.5, 39.5. That did not cast, of course. Clippers got obliterated in that game. So 2-on-1 day yesterday. Looking to build on that and try to keep it going today. A lot of good spots on the board today. I looked at the games yesterday, last night, started handicapping some of these games, and really couldn't find a lot of spots that I wanted to back. Doing some deeper diving today, some extensive research, talking to a few of my guys in the chat. I think I found enough plays to that where I feel comfortable, and I actually left my. Now that I think about it, I actually left my sheet in my back pocket upstairs. So just kind of go through some of these games. Just so you guys know, I'm not going through every single game today. It's going to take too long. I want to get to, not just dominate the mic and pass it along to other people as well. So I'm just going to go through a few of the games that I really like, some player props that I haven't fully capped yet. I do think it's some player props that absolutely go crazy tonight. Friday is typically the weird, day of the week as well. So, we see a lot of value on the board typically on Friday. So I'm gonna just go give you guys, what I have, and then, of course, there's always gonna be time for everybody else to kind of share their looks as well. Uh, excuse me. So first game, let's get into the. Let's see. First game I want to talk about is the 7 o'clock games. First and foremost, I haven't made official play in this game, but I do want to talk just a tad bit about the Pacers and the Portland Trailblazers. So, based on what I was looking at, the Pacers are 13-7 against the spread at home, 8-2 ATS their last 10. This team is on fire right now. They winning games on the road, winning games at home. The Portland Trailblazers are going in the opposite direction. They're only 4-6 in their last 10. That's both against the spread and straight up. Portland did win the earlier matchup, 116 and 100 on December 4th. They were laying 5 in that game in Portland. Portland won that game. Of course, Tyrese Halliburton didn't play in that game. So now you see a line that's kind of all over the Pacers in this spot. Halliburton's back. This team is balling, even though they did just lose the other day in Philly. The Pacers are 8-4, straight up 9-3. Revenge of same season losses at home. They're 3-0 in that spot. So all things kind of point towards the Pacers in this spot. They're also 4-2 against the spread versus the West and at home. 7-3 after a previous loss when their next game is at home as well. So and we just got news that Joel Embiid will be he's without a timetable for his return. So he could miss even some more time, and definitely want to talk about that game as well. Blazers not as well. 0-5 playing on one day's rest. 0-5 in their last 5. 0-5 against the spread. Last 5 road games versus a team with the winning record as well. So the Pacers are the way I kind of looked in this one. The Pacers also have the number 1 rated offense over the last 5 games, but 29th defensively. Portland is 16th offensively, but 8th defensively. So, like I said, two teams kind of going in the opposite direction. Pacers getting hot, Portland getting cold. To me, it feels kind of easy to jump on the Pacers. I think you see the spread in this one. Opened at 1 yesterday. I see it at 1.5. I see some 2s as well. To me, it feels kind of easy to take the Pacers. I know that they've been balling, but I can't really get there. I can't get there completely. I feel like Portland's been playing down to their competition. They are coming off a loss where they were 6-point favorites at in Minnesota, lost that game outright. And just based on what I read, based on what I heard from both Coach Chauncey Billups and Damian Lillard, it feels like they could come out and have something to prove in this spot. So I didn't take anything officially in this game. I did think it was interesting that Dame points opened up at 29.5 when he hasn't really hit that number recently. He also hasn't hit that number against the Pacers recently. So to me, I think the books are telling us that Dame probably goes off in this spot. Anthony Simons is a guy that doesn't play as well on the road. And there may be an indication that Jeremy Grant also may not play. He is listed as questionable. Haven't seen any injury news on whether he's going to be in or be out in this one. So those are kind of my notes in this one. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't take anything. I hope that helps you guys with your analysis. Moving along, Chicago and the Philadelphia 76ers. This is a game where I do have an official play. I tweeted it out earlier. It's actually my best bet of the day, the play that I like the most. And I typically don't even try to handicap Bulls games, at least not until the end, because I typically stay far away from them. This one kind of feels like a Bulls spot, though. So just real quick notes I got for you guys. The Bulls they're 14th rated offensively last 5 games, 12th defensively. They're also 8-2-1 against the spread as away dogs in conference games, 3-1 against the spread after a previous home win, in which their next game was on the road, and they're 4-2-1 against the spread on their first leg of a back-to-back. You look at this Sixers team, they will be without Joel Embiid for an extensive amount of time now. They don't have a 5-point win as a home favorite without Embiid this season. They're just 1-2 straight up, 0-3 against the spread without Embiid as a home favorite this season. Their defensive rating without Embiid also takes a pretty huge climb, about 12 points. Top 5 with Joel Embiid at a 106.6, but they go to the bottom half of the league at a just a 118 rating. So I think the Bulls should be able to come out here and score. Also like the over. I think the total's been going up pretty much all day. The Bulls have been playing pretty good defense. The Sixers typically rely on their defense, when they don't have Joel Embiid. So you typically see a lot of those games go over without Embiid. When Embiid in, it goes under at it's a pretty big differential between the two as well. So official for me, I'm on Chicago plus the 4.5. I think that number has come down now to 4. Yes, it's at 4 pretty much everywhere now. So hopefully that means something. I'm not 100% sure. I know it opened at 5 last night when I wasn't paying too much attention to it. I would have loved to got on the over, but didn't quite get there. I also think it's interesting. I shared this earlier. I didn't put it on my timeline, but I shared this earlier. If you look at Zach LaVine, again, when Zach LaVine plays in Philly, he typically plays really, really well. I think he's played in Philly recently. Last time he was in Philly, he played 37 minutes and had 24 points. The time before that, he played 38 minutes in Philly and had 27 points. The time before that, he played 38 minutes and had 30 points. Before that, he had 40 minutes and played 40 minutes and had 32 points. Before that, 36 minutes and scored 23 points. And before that one in Philly, 33 minutes and 30 points. So Zach LaVine has a really, really strong track record of going over his point total. I think it was 21.5 this morning. Last night when it opened, it was juiced to the over. And I think it's up to about 22 right now. I do think that, the guards for the Philadelphia 76ers are pretty solid. DeAnthony Melton can play defense, but they will seek out James Harden, in my estimation. I think it'll be a lot of, screening to try to get whoever it is that they want to get into an offensive flow to try to get that individual matched up on James Harden so they can go one-on-one with James Harden. So I love Zach LaVine in this spot. I just didn't get there. He's not a guy that I typically back. This is more so, a trends play. Like I said, he's about 7 for 7 in the last 7 games in Philly specifically. So I only got there officially on the plus 4.5 for Chicago. And like I said, the number's down to 4 now. Moving along, I want to touch on, let's see what other game. I'm not going to go through all these games. The Knicks and the Toronto Raptors. Excuse me. To me, this feels like a really good spot for Julius Randle. I didn't get there. I also think it's a really good spot for the Raptors. Toronto does own the Knicks in Toronto specifically, which I think is why you see this line at 3.5. The Knicks have been the better team recently. They're 5-5 straight up and against the spread their last 5. versus a Toronto team that has been battling injury recently. But they do have a couple of their guys back. Like they did just get Fred VanVleet back and Precious Achiuwa back, so they have a pretty full squad. They were in a pretty tough situation against Giannis, who did whatever he wanted to against them the other day, even though the Bucks were on the second night of a back-to-back. So Toronto is just 3-7 in their last 10 and 4-6 against the spread. Now you ask them to win the game by 4 points. I'd be looking towards the Knicks. I actually got them written down on my short list, just didn't bet them yet. And the reason why I like Julius Randle is because OG Anunoby is one of the better, perimeter defenders in the league. And I'm pretty sure he probably draws Jalen Brunson today. Of course, there's no RJ Barrett. So I'd be looking at Julius Randle props. Toronto is also one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. So his rebounds plus points, or just his points or just his rebounds, I think all of those looks are absolutely in play for the New York Knicks tonight. That's what I had on that game. The Brooklyn game and the Pelicans game is extremely interesting to me. So last night I saw it open at 5, and in favor of Brooklyn. It'd be a bounce back spot for them. They are coming off a road loss in Chicago, where Chicago snapped their winning streak. They had a 10, 11, 12 game winning streak, something like that. The spread has come down to 4, and I think it's for good reason. I think, to me, this is a coin flip type of game. I think the Brooklyn Nets could win this game by 5 or 6. I also think the Brooklyn Nets could barely get out of here with like a 2 or 3 point win as well, and not cover this spread. So you look at the Brooklyn Nets specifically. Let me get to my notes. So the Nets they lost earlier to the Pelicans, and the Nets are 8-4 against the spread, revenge of same season losses since Steve Nash got fired back on November the 1st. I did a lot of queries around after Steve Nash got fired, because I think that's something to take into consideration. They're a totally different team under Coach Vaughn. They are winning those games by average of 8 points, 115 to 107, 8-point margin there. The Pelicans are still shorthanded without Brandon Ingram, of course, and Zion's going to miss some extensive time as well, about another 3.5 weeks. But the Nets off a loss. They are off a loss, trying to snap their losing streak. This team is 5-2 against the spread after a loss since the firing of Coach Steve Nash, and they're winning those games by about 10 points. 3-1 is away games against the spread, and it's about a 6-point margin. So you get about 4 here. It seems about right. That's just the Nets side. You look at the Pelicans specifically, though. And hold on, the other thing I wanted to mention about the Nets before I get to the Pelican side is the Nets are just 5-6 against the spread as away favorites since they fired Steve Nash. So a lot of the times, we know the Nets have been balling, right? Really hard to bet against them. What's wrong with Ingram, Steve? He got a foot injury, so he just kind of battling back from a foot injury. I don't even know when he's supposed to return. But getting back to this, the Nets being just 5-6 against the spread as away favorites this season, the Nets aren't trying to necessarily cover spreads. They're trying to win games, and they've been doing that. They've been winning, but they don't necessarily cover the spread, which is why I think them having to win the game by 2 possessions seems like a pretty tall task. Not to say that they can't. They could win this game by 7 to 8 points. But if you look at this Pelicans team, without Brandon Ingram, without Zion Williamson, they still continue to play really, really good basketball. I got the Pelicans as 5-1 straight up and against the spread when they haven't had Brandon Ingram and they don't have Zion Williamson. And you say, all right, Chris, 5-1 against the spread straight up and against the spread for the Pelicans. The piece that's most interesting is that when they're home dogs, which they have been 5 times, they've covered 4 of those spreads straight up. And covered 4 spreads, and they've won 4 of those games straight up. So they're hitting at an 80% clip when they are home dogs without Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. I think one thing to take into consideration is a lot of their role players play a lot better at home. I'm talking about Herb Jones. I'm talking about Jose Alvarado. I know Larry Nance Jr. was upgraded to questionable. I'm talking about guys like Larry Nance was upgraded to questionable. I'm sorry. Jonas Valanciunas. I'm talking about Jackson Hayes. They just have a Najee Marshall. They got a lot of guys that can come in and kind of fill that void. They do it collectively as a team. Trey Murphy. I'm not saying that they, win the game outright, but it wouldn't surprise me if they kept it close, which is why I'm not on this game officially. Couldn't talk anybody off of Kyrie. I think Kyrie's in a good spot, even though he will draw Jose Alvarado. Kyrie is shifty and crafty enough to where, he really just can't be guarded. Herb Jones probably draws KD. KD will probably be down for that challenge. And like I said, these two teams did play each other earlier this year, and the Nets did win that game and cover the spread in Brooklyn. But the Pelicans are just, like I said, they just balling right now. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Nets, somehow lost 2 games in a row, because they were, kind of balling, and maybe you run out of gas just a tad bit. So that's what I got there. Charlotte and Milwaukee, not a game I really capped at all. Spread opened at 10.5. It's down to 10. Excuse me. Milwaukee getting a tad bit healthier. I think the guys are in today. Not 100% sure. Charlotte just giving it up to everybody, especially at home, especially on the road. It don't really matter. So I'm not really looking to back Charlotte at any spot at all, but this is their role. They typically do play well when they are road dogs of 10 points or more. Matter of fact, I didn't cap this game. I'm just interested to see what that is. I remember earlier in the season, probably about 3 weeks ago, I was looking at Charlotte was playing against the 76ers. Charlotte was playing against the 76ers in Philly. This was about 3 weeks ago. And, that was a game that they kept close, specifically early, before they, absolutely get smashed. So right now I see them they lose the game straight up. They're only 2-6, but they have covered 4 of the 8 spreads. So with one of them being a push. So they do cover about 57% of the time. And they typically lose the game right about 8 or 9 points. So 10 does seem like a big number for the Bucks, who haven't been, hitting on all cylinders. But the Hornets offense has, really taken a big step back. This team is the worst offensive team last 2 weeks in the league. And, the Bucks play a lot better at home. So I didn't take anything official in this one. Like I said, I didn't really look at it too much. So I'm going to kind of, gloss over that game. The Wizards and the Oklahoma City Thunder. To me, this game screams. So Bradley Beal is listed as out for this game. Oklahoma City's in a pretty funky travel spot where they are. Let me get to it in my notes. They are on their 3rd game in 4 nights. It's a home back to back. We know that they beat Boston earlier this week, and then they had a back to back where they had to go to Orlando, and they lost that game by 9. Lost that game by 11, I'm sorry. And then they're coming back home off 1 day's rest to play against the Washington Wizards, who haven't played a game in the last 2 days when they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. So not as much traveling for the Washington Wizards. This is the last game of a 4-game road trip for the Washington Wizards. This Wizards team has been playing better recently, but if you look at their opponents, they haven't really played a lot of great opponents. They played the Bucks and lost with Giannis, but they beat the Bucks without Giannis in the first game. They beat Orlando when Orlando was extremely shorthanded and had all those guys out right after the fight happened with the Magic and the Pistons. And then they did beat Phoenix without Devin Booker on the second night of a back-to-back after Phoenix had just beat the Memphis Grizzlies as well. So impressive win against the Philadelphia 76ers. That one was pretty impressive. So to me, I kind of wanted to get behind the Washington Wizards, but I feel like as soon as I do, that's when things will probably go the wrong way. This team has won 6 of their last 7 and covered 6 of their last 7 spreads as well. So I looking at this game earlier, these teams have played already. They played on November 16th. 241 points were scored in that game. That game went over by 11 points. Last year when these teams played, they scored 240 points as well. That game went over by 29 points. To me, it feels like points should be scored in this one. Shout out to my guy RC. I see him in the chat. We spent some time looking at this game, and to me, I think the best play would be on the over, but I just didn't take it yet. I see guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander having a really good game, right? Point prop sitting at 30.5. There is no rim protection for the Washington Wizards, so I think just like he scored 42 points in the last game, he could potentially get to 40 again in this game. So I'll be looking at SGA props in this game. I also think on the opposite end, guys like Kuzma, he really gets the keys to the whip when there is no Bradley Beal. His numbers are typically through the roof. The Thunder playing at I think it was the 3rd fastest pace over the last 5 games. The Wizards also play at an extremely fast pace when they're on the road as well. Both top 5 in that category. So I see guys like Porzingis who what should be a matchup nightmare. They don't have anyone that could really, stay in front of a guy like Porzingis, especially, in the interior. Guys like Porzingis and Kyle Kuzma absolutely eat tonight. When I see things like that and I don't have enough time to actually take a deeper dive into which player I want, I typically just stay off because I didn't do that. So top play would probably be the over, and I would look towards SGA going over his 30.5 points as well. And then I also think Kuzma and Porzingis, one of those guys typically has a better game than the other. So maybe you look at some recent matchups, and kind of pick what you want based on pick one of those guys based on who you kind of lean more towards. So that's what I got in that game. Let's see, a couple of these games I'm gonna skip over completely. Detroit and San Antonio. First game I'm gonna skip over completely. I'm pretty sure there's some value in this one, but I'm not I'm not looking to play this game. It seems like a winnable game for San Antonio, and they're back at home, which is, I think why they're favored in this one. Detroit is coming off a upset. I think they were 6.8 point dogs in Golden State, won that game outright the other day on a game winning 3-pointer by Sadiq Bey at the buzzer. So yeah, not really wanting to play this game. In theory, Detroit is still dogs in this spot, and they do well as dogs against the Western Conference. I think it's something like 9-2-1 against the spread. But nothing that I'm official on in this one. I know that my guy Markel, we always talk about Durham rebounds. So one thing I think is interesting to mention, and I got written on my short list, is looking at Durham rebounds. The Spurs don't have a lot of rebounding. Jakob Poeltl is still kind of like he's not playing full minutes since he came back from his injury. I think Pop is kind of splitting the minutes between him and Zach Collins, and they're both playing about 24, 25 minutes a game. The thing about Durham is that Marvin Bagley III just got injured. He's going to be out for extensive time again. So when you're down a big man, that equals even more minutes for a guy like Durham. So I would look at his rebounds and lean towards the over. I think it's at 10.5 is what I looked at earlier. But like I said, just on my short list right now, nothing that I played officially. Let's see what else. Clippers and the Timberwolves, not a game that I even looked at, so I won't talk much about that. I will say the Clippers got smacked up yesterday. So typically when teams get smacked up like that, especially on a nationally televised game like the TNT game yesterday, they typically come out with something. The Timberwolves have been playing a little bit better basketball recently since they had the team meeting. They got a big win against the Denver Nuggets the other day, and then was able to follow that up with a win against Portland as well. So kind of playing just a tad bit better. Wait on the injury news because Paul George is listed as questionable, and Kawhi could potentially play in this one. I know when they asked him last night, he said that it really wouldn't be up to him. He does want to get to a place where he's able to play back-to-backs. And he really didn't play that many minutes last night. So I think, 4.5 is to me, I'm not laying 4.5 with the Timberwolves against anybody right now, just because they got a couple wins underneath their belt. This team still has a lot of turmoil going on. And they will have to, win a few more games, consistently for me to feel like I want to lay 4.5, in a spot where they got to win by 2 possessions. So I'll be looking at the Clippers. Ty Lue did also say last night that in the second half, a lot of his starters didn't play heavy minutes at all because he wanted to give the young guys some spin. But also, granted, it's the second night of a back-to-back, and after getting embarrassed like that, you're probably gonna come out with something. So I would be looking at the Clippers early in this spot, but it's not something that I handicap. I know that the Timberwolves, they typically play well early too, but they play well early on the road versus playing well at home. So just something else I wanted to share with you guys there. The Cleveland and Denver game is a really, really interesting one to me. The total in this one has dropped from 224 to 221. I would agree with that movement. The Cavs will be resting Donovan Mitchell. He will not be in for this game. Denver should have a full squad. I know Jamal Murray said he was going to play today. Injury management because he did play yesterday, but none of these Denver starters played more than 29 minutes. With the only person that played 29 minutes was KCP. Jokic only played 24. The other starters played between 20 to 25 minutes. Nobody played, a bunch of minutes. Denver is tough. They're tough at home. I talked about it yesterday. I realized it after I lost, a nice chunk of money against the Memphis Grizzlies. This team has won a bunch of games at home. I think it's like 8 or 9, 10 in a row. And I don't see them really slowing down here in this spot either. With Donovan Mitchell being out, the Cavaliers do struggle on the road to be able to score the ball. Darius Garland is listed as questionable. I think my favorite play in this game would probably be looking towards Denver early. I think that they can come out and, just assert their dominance early, just scoring a bunch of points. I expect them to not play as much defense because typically you get a letdown on the defensive end. But if Cleveland is without Darius Garland in this spot and Donovan Mitchell already sitting, I just don't see a way that they can score the ball consistently. Karis LeVert is a okay playmaker, but they have guys like Bruce Brown that can slow him down, right? They'll be asking for a lot from a guy like Evan Mobley. Aaron Gordon is another guy who can play really good defense, and Denver plays well at home. All of their role players. A big reason why Jokic didn't hit his points prop yesterday, didn't have to play the second half, is because a lot of those guys stepped up. And if you look at the box score, that's exactly the way Mike Malone wants it, so that they don't have to overexert a guy like Jokic, especially on the first night of a back-to-back. So I see, big nights from guys like Michael Porter Jr., but I'm not necessarily playing any prop in this one. I would just look towards the Cleveland Cavalier team total over. And I would look there if Garland got ruled in, because Garland hasn't played in the last 3 or 4 games. So, first game back without your, best player in Donovan Mitchell. Also, I think it's interesting to note that Donovan Mitchell has I wrote it down earlier. Donovan Mitchell has let's see. Donovan Mitchell has like a 35% usage rate, I think it was, on the road. Let's see. So Donovan Mitchell has a 30% usage rate in 22 away games this season, accounting for 36% of their points on the road versus the West. So when you take that out, and if let's just say Garland is ruled in or out, if he's ruled in, then you have Garland in, but Garland hasn't played in a game in 3 or 4 games, right? First game on the West, well, not on the West Coast, but in the Midwest, traveling time zones. Also, they've had some very, very hard-fought games. So I just look towards the total to go up. I know when I checked it earlier, me and RC was capping it. It was at 107.5. And I think that if Garland comes back, that number probably does go up just a tad bit. And that's when you take the under. But if he's not in, I'm still okay with taking the under, because I don't see a lot of points being scored in this game. I think Denver probably just relies a little bit more on their defense. And I expect the Cavs to be able to struggle to score in this spot. The Cavs also average about 104 points as away dogs this season, specifically against the Western Conference. So when they travel from, East Coast to West and they're dogs in this spot, they typically don't play well, don't score a lot of points in this spot. And like I said, no Donovan Mitchell, big part of their offense is going to be missing today. And then we have, I'm almost done. I'm actually doing pretty good with time. We have the Miami Heat and the Phoenix Suns. So we did get some injury news in this one. The Miami Heat may be without, and it's not 100% guaranteed yet, so don't put words in my mouth. I'm just kind of giving y'all the updates. I think Tyler Hero popped up on the injury report as questionable. And then we also got news that Caleb Martin was also listed as questionable. Let me just double check and confirm that. I think that's what I saw. I want to make sure. Yeah, Caleb Martin is listed as doubtful. I'm sorry. And Tyler Hero now listed as questionable. Typically in the middle of the day, when those guys go from nothing happened to me in the last game to now my back is hurting and I'm listed as questionable, is not a good sign. So if you like the Heat, that might not be that helpful. But Jimmy Butler is, still in the lineup. Bam Adebayo. We know that this team is a strength by numbers type team, but Tyler Hero has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting and a lot of scoring for this team. So I like the under earlier. I think you like the under even more now. Tyler Hero definitely affects the total, in a negative way if you were looking towards the over, because he does bring a lot of offense, for this team. The Miami Heat's not a team that really relies on their offense. And when they can't score, they typically struggle. The Phoenix Suns, and both of these teams are also coming off losses, right? We saw that the Miami Heat just beat the Los Angeles Clippers. Then they lose to the Lakers, a shorthanded Laker team without LeBron James at Crypto.com Arena. And now the Phoenix Suns are coming back home off 2 really, one was a really, really bad loss. They lost to the Knicks at the Garden, didn't show up for that game at all, like absolute blowout from the beginning. And then they go to Cleveland, they fight really, really hard, just don't have enough offense. We see, I think, maybe 25 points scored combined in the first quarter. I think the score was like 13 or 11 or something like that. So Phoenix does tend to struggle at home, specifically when they don't have Devin Booker. I think there's something like 1-5 straight up, 1-6 straight up. At home, I do expect this crowd to, kind of get behind them. I do expect Phoenix to fight hard in this spot as well. I couldn't talk anybody off Phoenix. I think that Phoenix is due for a win, and being back home may be the time that they get it. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be their first game, which is why I'm not official on anything in this game. But I do like the under. Even with it being so low, I'm just not going to play any unders right now because they have not been a friend of mine recently. And then the last game, the Lakers and the Atlanta Hawks, not a game that I really looked a lot into earlier. The Lakers did just beat the Atlanta Hawks on LeBron James' birthday about 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, something like that, when the Lakers were in Atlanta. And the total flew over the total flew over, of course. The Lakers are, they were starting to put together something. Beat Charlotte to end the road trip, and then also they beat Atlanta, then beat Charlotte to end the road trip. Came home and got a pretty good win against when they were shorthanded against the Miami Heat. Now you get an Atlanta team that just came off a pretty closely contested game in Sacramento, so they've been kind of acclimated to the West Coast already. And now they're 2.5 point favorites. So the line is pretty telling. The Lakers do have an extensive injury list, even though LeBron is supposed to be back in this one. So let's see. We have Troy Brown Jr. is out. We have Austin Reeves out. We have I'm trying to do this off the top of my head. We have Lonnie Walker the fourth out. So Atlanta being pretty healthy, I think they have everybody except Clint Capella. I see the game being extremely fast paced. One thing that's been extremely consistent is the Lakers have been able to cover first halves. There's a big differential between when the Lakers have LeBron James in the game and when they don't. LeBron's been playing out his mind. I think with him being well rested in this spot, not playing in the last game, I'm not 100% sure if he goes, balls to the wall in this game or if he saves some, because the Lakers do play the Sacramento Kings tomorrow in a conference game, and this Atlanta game doesn't mean as much, even though the Lakers should be trying to stack wins no matter who they're playing against. So really difficult game for me to cap. I'm not official on anything, but I do think that there's some value on guys like Dennis Schroeder points. The Lakers will be without a lot of their playmakers, so there will be, leaning to a guy like Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder is coming off a 30-point game, I think, against the Miami Heat the other night. And when you look at the Lakers, a lot of their offense will be coming from LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Dennis Schroeder. Those are the only three playmakers on the team. So pick accordingly. It could be a Westbrook game. Could absolutely see that. Like I said, I expect a lot of pace. The Atlanta Hawks on the road, when they are away favorites, are something like 6-0 to the over. So they typically give up a lot of points, but they also can score in that spot as well. So I anticipate a lot of points in this game. I'm probably going to break it down a tad bit more later, but I didn't get a chance to take the thorough dive that I wanted to in this one. So official plays for me, I kind of went through all the games already, 33 minutes. Official plays for me, I'm on the Bulls plus the 4.5. I think that's my favorite. Well, I don't think that is my favorite spot of the day. I also really want to get there with the Knicks. I think the Knicks are catching just a tad bit too many points. I didn't play that. May look for a live opportunity in the Portland and Indiana game, just kind of seeing how the start of the game goes, right? I think it's really interesting. I want to mention this real quick while I'm talking about this game. Listening to the post-game interview with the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Portland Trailblazers in their last matchup, you hear I listened to both Chauncey Billups and Damian Lillard talk about this. And I think it's something that, we see frequently, right? You see a team go down early in the game, right? Maybe they come out a little sluggish. And most of the time, majority of the times, those teams that go down 10 points or 8 points in the first quarter or even the first half, they don't end up winning the game. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen every single time, but Chauncey Billups and Damian Lillard both said that you can kind of tell how the game's going to go based on the first few minutes, right? I think that's indicative of the Chicago Bulls and the Brooklyn Nets as well. The Chicago Bulls jumped out on Brooklyn in that last game. And, it's kind of almost, easy to be like, you know what, let me put a little something on Brooklyn to come back because they're on an 11-game win streak. They just started the game off slow. but you can see a lot. So what I'm saying is Portland and Indiana, based on how, the first quarter kind of goes, it might be a live betting opportunity there. Also really like Zach LaVine points, even though I didn't play those. I talked about the Knicks plus the 3.5, plus the 4. If you can get that, I do see it at 4 now. So some money's come back in on Toronto. I also like Julius Randle. I got to cap it a little bit more, but I like Julius Randle. And then that's the Washington and OKC over 231.5. I think that game does go over. And that's pretty much it. Besides the Denver and Cleveland, like I said, if Garland is ruled in, which we probably won't know until a few hours, then I'm probably going to take the Cleveland Cavalier team total under, because I look for that number to go up. And that's what I got, man. Send me your requests if you guys have anything. Mooney said that Grant is ruled in. So if Grant is ruled in, I didn't see that Grant was ruled in. Let's see if we have that news of Grant being ruled in. If Grant is ruled in, I do expect that line to. I think he is at least a half a point. He had 28 points in the first time these two teams played in the game without Tyrese Halliburton. I didn't see that he was actually ruled in. He is available to play as of 20 minutes ago. Appreciate you. Who said that? Mooney-san. Appreciate you sharing that. Malik said, did Chris just say a Bulls play was his favorite play? Yeah, I did, bro. I'm trying to cash, man. I like the spot for the Bulls tonight. I absolutely like. I mean, it can make me look like fools. I think it's a tad bit contrarian because, the Philadelphia 76ers are one of the better home teams. When they're a favorite, I think something like 13-5, which is like the second or third best home record in the NBA. But I really like that spot a lot. I like that spot a lot. Joe Chris said Wizards OKC first quarter over 57.5. I could absolutely see that. I'm actually going to write that down and look a little more in that. If you guys got plays that you want to share, send me a request and I will get as many people up as I can in the next about 30 minutes. If I can get my pen right, it'd be even better. Let me come to Bookie first. Hey, Bookie, what's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
Yo, what up, Chris?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I just got 2 small plays I like today. We're not small plays because I actually put a decent amount on them. Instead of placing like 5 1-unit plays, I just decided to stick with these 2, play a little heavier.
Like it.
First play, really like this one. I'm considering actually even alting it down. You talked about it, Milwaukee, higher spread. Don't really want to play it over. That's why I'm looking towards an under. Rozier, under 19.5, minus 110. With LaMelo Ball this season, filtering out one OT game where I think he played like 45 minutes. Rozier's averaging just 15.9 points on 14 field goal attempts, going under in 8 of 12 games, with overs coming against Miami and the Lakers twice, with 1 over against Memphis. So obviously, apart from the Grizzlies, 3 pretty bad defensive teams. He did play a game versus Milwaukee in early December and dropped 26. That was without LaMelo, and the Bucks were without Drew and Giannis. While playing for Charlotte, Rozier is averaging just 11.8 points in 4 games versus Drew Holiday, scoring 12, 8, 10, and 17. Milwaukee allows the 5th least points and 6th least three-pointer made to shooting guards the last 30 days as well. So I like that as an under. And then just switching over to the Philly game, I really, really like Maxey tonight. A 21.5-point line without Embiid, I love it. So I'd put a 0.5 on 20.5 unit on 25 plus, and then a little bit more on 30 plus. He's averaging 25.5 points on 18.5 field goal attempts, hitting 14 to 19, hitting 25 plus and 10 to 19 without Embiid over the last 2 seasons. In 4 games this season without Embiid and with Harden, he's averaging 30 points on 19.5 field goal attempts, going over in 3 of 4, 25 plus in 3 of 4, and 30 plus 2 of 4. And I think he shot the ball 20 plus in all 4 games, 2 games with 25 plus field goal attempts, I believe. The Bulls allow the 2nd most points in threes to shooting guards the last 30, giving up plus 5 points to the average over the last 30. Some shooting guards versus the Bulls this season, actually just going back to the start of November. Seth Curry at 22, Mitchell with 71, obviously. LeVert with 23 the game before. Burks with 19, Ivy with 22, KPJ and Green with 36 and 24 in the same game. RJ Barrett with 44, Anthony Edwards with 37, and Booker with 51. So just a ton of huge games. I really love Maxey tonight. That's what I'm on. Thank you.
Okay. Now, you know what? It's crazy. It's crazy, Boogie, because I'd actually been targeting Maxey unders, right? Like just based on the theory of injured player coming back, typically takes a while to get that confidence back to, be able to perform at we see it all the time, right? Even with PG yesterday, PG came back, he, not that he came back, but he was questionable with a hamstring injury. We know that players, re-aggravate hamstrings in the first quarter. I think the Clippers were aggravated in the first quarter, not their hamstring, but their whole body pretty much, because their whole team just didn't come to play. But my point is just that when you see stuff like that happen, you want to play those first few games. You want to take their unders. I definitely would not do it today though, Bookie. So like you said, I'd be looking towards Maxi to go over his points as well in this spot, because he does have a few games back.
As opposed to a 23 and a half or a 22 and a half or even a 24 and a half. I think that's why it's a little bit lower coming off the first few games back.
Right. Yeah. The volume is, I know you touched on it already, but the volume is definitely going to be there. He should be able to get, as many shots as he wants. I think, and I also think that the only thing for me, Bookie, is that it could be contingent upon how well those other guards are playing, right? We know that they have Shake Milton. We know that they have DeAnthony Milton. And the Bulls, like you said, they give up a lot of threes as well. So, excuse me, I could see, I could definitely see Maxey going over his point prop and, getting to the window with this one, bro. I hope you cash it. Do we have any other takers? Anybody else want to share some looks? If not, I'm gonna go into live capping because I need to. I feel like I need a few more plays that I haven't put in yet. Anybody else got anything they want to share? Anybody got any questions? Just me and you today, Bookie. It's a quiet Friday, man.
Shit. I mean, that's kind of crazy. We got like 30 people up here. What's going on?
Yeah, I know, right? There we go. My guy Dream then did some research for us. Dream, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, man. What's the vibe?
What up, Dream?
Same shit, man. Different day trying to cash. I got a whole lot of plays today, so I'll share with you.
What you got for the people?
All right, first, all the time, LaMelo over 23 and a half points. He's going to get the usage. He's going to take a bunch of threes. And pretty sure his last 3 games against the Bucks, he had 24, 23, and then he had a crazy 35 and 9 game in December 2021. So I like Melo. I think he's going to get the volume. Like I said, and if this game is even barely close in the fourth quarter, he's going to fly over it. So took his over points. And my man just said he on Rozier under. Even more reason for me to be on Melo.
Okay.
Took Porzingis over points. I got him last night, 23 and a half. It's at 24 and a half. I think it's fine. Basically, Center's been killing OKC all year. It just is what it is. They don't have no bigs. Well, just bigs in general. Skill bigs, good bigs. They get whatever they want against OKC. Even the ones that's not even that big or that skilled. So I kind of wanted to play Porzingis double-double, but I feel like he could just front and have 4 rebounds. But one thing I do think he's going to do is shoot. So I think he's got the most shots. I see this game as more of a Kuzma trying to facilitate. I like Kuzma PRA, but I ain't played. But I just love Porzingis points. I think he clears this easily. I also play Shy over in the same game, 30 and a half. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, not much defense. So Shy, last time they played, he had 42 in Washington earlier this year. They don't defend him well. Well, it's not even that they don't defend him well. They do drop coverage most of the time on their guards off the pick and roll, and he's a mid-range killer. It's perfect for him. So I love his over points. I took the Pistons. I've been riding the Pistons all year. Short favorites, big favorites. I mean, short dogs, big dogs, it don't matter. I just love them in this position. The reason why I like playing the Pistons is because they have a better veteran presence than other teams, most teams in the league, I feel. But especially like teams that they be short dogs to. So tonight they're going against Spurs, and if you look at it, the Spurs don't have no vets that really play. And the Spurs just lost, was it Keldon Johnson? Not I think they just lost Keldon Johnson. They lost one of them. So I got Bogdanovich in the starting lineup. He may be the best player on the floor. I got Alex Burks coming off of the bench. So I have a veteran presence, and Dwayne Casey has let it be known he's going to play whoever's got it going. He don't care if he'll sit Jalen during the whole fourth quarter. He'll play Sadiq Bey. Like, he's going to play veteran. So I like Detroit to get that W tonight. I took him as a short dog. John Collins double-double. I've been playing him the last 2 nights. He cashed. It's short now. It's plus 115, but it's still plus money, so I'm going to mess with it. He's gone over. They moved it up from 8.5 to 9.5. It's been 8.5. He's gone over that like crazy. The reason why I'm still playing it, even though it's at 9.5, I'm playing a double-double. So obviously you got to have 10 rebounds. I'm playing that because he's been, like I said, a double-double machine. He's been getting more time at center. When he last played the Lakers a week and a half ago, he had like 9 rebounds and he fouled out. So he was on pace to have a monster game against the Lakers, but he fouled out in like 23 minutes. So if he could stay on the floor, stay out of foul trouble, I love him to breeze over his rebounds, and I'm pretty sure he can get 10 points. So play this double-double. And the last play, Alec Burks. I've been playing him all year. This is the highest I'll play him, 14.5 points, but he can go over this in a quarter. He can go over this in a half. He can have 25 tonight. I laddered him up all the way up to 25 plus 1,000. Actually, it's plus 1,100. I love Alex Burks. So he's been cashing out all year for me. So he played 28 minutes last game. If he plays 28 minutes this game, he's going to go way over his points or he's going to shoot horribly. So there it is.
Okay. Dream dropped the plays off. I hope people had their pen and paper out. I like it, Dream.
It's all on my page, man. All my stuff on my page and all my alt plays on my page too, man. I was one leg from cashing a plus 8,000 last night, but I round robin it, so it was cool.
Nice. I love it. I don't think people do that enough, Dream. I'm glad to hear you say you round robin it, bro. So, if people don't know, that means he still cash no matter what. No matter what, they want the plus 8,000, but you still cash something. So, it's nothing worse than putting together those, parlays and you don't get nothing from them. When you done did so much research and got so many things right, and the ball, only drop your way, against you one way, and you don't end up cashing the ticket. So, love to hear you say that, bro.
Yeah, it's a different peace of mind, man, because that was actually my last leg, so it was all like plus 200s. So the last leg was Jokic to have 14 rebounds, and it was like plus 190. So I already knew I was going to win money regardless whether he got the rebounds or not. That was the lovely thing about playing round robin. It was a 4-legger. I hit my first 3, so I knew I was going to cash out regardless. I was just hoping I could really cash out. But yeah, man, if you don't know about round robins, look them up, man. They're a great option if you're going to be parlaying.
Yeah, Mooney Sign says, how does the round robin work? So typically you just go in, you put, how you play your parlay in different ways. So if one doesn't hit, another may hit. You don't need every single leg to cash, and you don't get the full, proceed of the whole entire thing, but you'll get some money back based on, just watch a video on it. It's too hard for me to explain and given the time frame that I got right now, but just go to YouTube and type in how this round robin works, and it'll show you how you can cash and get some money, especially if it's all plus money plays. You get a little bit more back in return as well. Somebody else said West Dream's page, so go to Twitter. Mr. Dreamy1 with a Y is Dream's page, and you guys can find Dream. Definitely worth a follow there. Always got some plus money plays, always got some ladders, and be cashing. So I appreciate you, Dream, for sharing the looks, bro. I hope you cash them today.
Nah, I appreciate it too, man. Thanks for the platform. Hope you cash.
Absolutely, Dream. Right back at you, bro. Let me kick it to my guy Mitch. What up, Mitch?
Hey, what up, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. How about yourself?
I'm good. So just a quick touch back on what we were talking about a little bit earlier. I've been watching these Raptors games. I'm a Raptors guy. And we're watching Scotty Barnes struggle. Not even look at the basket in the first half, and then all of a sudden in the second half he hits his point prop. So a couple ways to look at this. I'm currently looking at his under on DraftKings under first quarter points, under 3.5 for plus 120. He's got 0 points in his last 4 first quarters. But he also ended up the last 2 games with 19 and 21 points. So if you want to try and maybe play that under, or if you want to just watch the game and monitor and then play a Scotty over. I was able to get it at 10.5 plus 100 last game. So they're watching him and they're seeing him not shoot, not want to shoot, and then all of a sudden he decides to turn it on in the second half and takes 8 shots in a row. So that's one quick look there. And I was also on. I know that Julius Randle rebounds is a pretty big popular one tonight with the Raps. He had 13 against them last week. He's gone over his prop in 10 of 11. But I'm pivoting on this one. I'm going towards his threes. I'm going to play Julius Randle's threes. 2.5 is a -110, -115. He's taking 11.5 3-pointers a game ever since RJ Barrett has been out of the lineup. So, and he's hitting at a 4.5 on average. So, and that's not including the game that Barrett went down 2 minutes into the game, and he went 5 for 11 from 3 in that game. Raps are giving up 40% over the last 5 games from 3. The one red flag is that Randall went over 3 when he did hit his rebound prop against the Raps a couple weeks ago. Barrett was in the game for that one, but I'm gonna roll with it. I'm playing the numbers, playing the averages, and hopefully he cashes.
Okay, J. Randall threes.
Yes, sir. Averaging 11.5 looks, and I think it was around just over 4 makes. So, and the prop is at 2.5, -110, -115.
Like it, Mitch. I think Julius Randle's like that one guy I think that people play, but don't nobody talk about it, right? Like nobody wants to give it out officially because the dude been balling, right? But it feels like, because he plays for the Knicks, that as soon as you talk about him, he'll go out there, have a dud, go 1 for 7 from the 3-point line, right? So you live and die with it. Yeah, I was gonna say.
You won't be surprised if Randall goes 2 for 14. So yeah, he's a risky player, but at the same time, if his point prop's up there at 28.5, and he's gone, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but he's hit 30 multiple times in his last 5 games. I'm leaning towards the threes. He's going to get the volume without RJ. And Brunson's been hitting his assist prop lately at a very high rate, so I'm expecting Brunson to be cashing his assist over to Randall.
I like it a lot, Mitch. I like it, bro. I hope you cash it too.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I want to get there with Randall sometime, some way today as well, Mitch. I got to see what I'm gonna do with that one. So that's why I'm gonna probably, I don't think we got too many more requests anyway. I'm gonna cut the show after we get through everybody, and I still got some work to do. I feel like I've been working on these games all day. Still got more work to do, but
too many games.
it is. I'm gonna limit it to probably about 5 plays. I'll tweet all of them out, but right now I only got like 3. So, but in it, which also is cool. We don't got to have too many plays. We got more NBA tomorrow. We'll have more the day after. So, really don't ever got to force anything. I like to make sure I reemphasize that as well. Let me kick it to Melvin real quick. Mitch, best of luck and appreciate you sharing the looks. Melvin, let me kick it to you real quick, and then let me get my guy Cam up as well. What up, Melvin? How you doing, man?
I'm all right, man. How you doing? What's up, Chris?
I'm good, bro. What's going on with you?
Man, I was just sitting back. I saw you talking about round robins, yo. Some cats just gotta make sure they don't do 2 plays from the same game. Cause I see cats on Twitter like talking about like everything they hit, odds is a loss. You parlay 2 things from the same game.
Yeah, let me speak on that real quick. That's a fact. I found that out because I tried to do that one time. Yeah, so people try to make their own player performance doubles, and that's normally when they get hit. Trying to do that. So if you're gonna round robin it, leave it to 1 leg per game. That way, if it loses, then that's the only leg that loses. But whoever gets, he right.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you sharing that, Dream. I appreciate you sharing that as well, Melvin. Did you have anything else you wanted to share? Any plays, any looks you got?
No, that's it, brother.
Okay. Best of luck, man. I hope you cash whatever it is that you play.
Yes, sir.
Cam, what's going on, man? Cam been coming in here giving out these Memphis bangers. First half, back-to-back, cash both of them. No sweat at all. What's up, Cam?
Thanks, man. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Tell me about your Raptors today, man. I need to know. I need some of that Canadian insight from you and Mitch.
Let me tell you. Okay, so Yeah, so where I'm looking at it, and like I said last game, the center position, right? We want to attack the center position and rebounding. So I get why everybody's on Randall's rebounds. It shouldn't just be because a lot of time plays. It's just we give up a lot of rebounds, man. I'm on Mitchell Robinson over 9.5. I just missed the plus money. It's literally flipped to -110 when I looked at it. As long as he stays on the floor, obviously there's always foul trouble risk with Mitchell Robinson, but such is life. If he's on the floor, he'll get to that 9.5 and probably goes to like 12, 13, whatever. Like Brook Lopez's line, to put it in perspective, everybody, he was set at over 5.5 against the Raptors. He went for like 15, 17. Adams was set for 9. He went for 15, 18 or something like that. Like it's just a very common thread. I might even go with Mitchell Robinson points too. We'll see. It's only over 7.5. Centers have been clearing that easy against us as well. We're literally a 6'9" team, guys. Like anybody who watches us play, like we got no height out there, none. Coloco's young and long, and he just gets pushed around at this point. So the Robinson play is my full-on official over 9.5 rebounds, leaning his points. On the other side, I always have a hard time kind of picking which Raptor's going to go off. I like Scotty right now, and every time I bet Scotty, he kind of burns me. But he was real aggressive in that last game. And he's been going over 14.5 the last few games. I think he's going to come out aggressive again. I think he's going to look for a shot versus waiting till the fourth quarter to put up 15 points or whatever it was he did. If I'm a coach, I'm telling him, hey, we needed that about 10 minutes earlier. So I'm going Scotty over 14.5 points in that game as well. Keep staying with the faith that the kid's going to keep it going. I'm also on Rudy Gobert points over 13.5. I mean, we didn't hit it with like I actually tailed everybody with Nikola last night because Zubac is trash down there when it comes to defending, and obviously the blowout killed it. I think Gobert gets to over 13.5, no problem tonight. We don't know if Kawhi or Paul George are playing. Doesn't matter. I do think if Minnesota's smart, they'll send it down low, and I think Gobert gets to is over 13.5. And then the play I'm on for the Philly Chicago game, and sorry I missed the preamble, so if I'm repeating anything people say, I apologize. We know that the Chicago Bulls aren't really great at guarding the guard position too much. They let up a lot of points there. I'm not looking at James Harden as much as I'm on I'm on Melton tonight. His points plus rebounds. So we know Harden's gonna have the ball in his hands looking for assists, and Melton rebounds the ball really well for a guard. It's set at 18.5 right now. With no Embiid, he's gonna get in there. He's gonna muck it up. I think the over 18.5, he could hit with points too, which is something I always like these lines. So points plus rebounds at over 18.5. Andrew Melton. So those are the four officials I'm on at the moment that I've had time to properly cap, that I wanted to make sure I got out to the people. There's a few leans I have right now, but I haven't had enough time to really do proper research on them. If I tweet them out, I tweet them out. If not, it means I didn't get there. But yeah, those are the four plays I'm looking at tonight, and I'm feeling good about.
What are they? One more time, Cam. Say them one more time for me.
So the four is first one's Mitchell Robinson over 9.5 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it just keeps hitting. Scotty Barnes over 14.5 points in the same game. Big lean here, which will probably become an official, is Mitchell Robinson's points over 7.5. Just centers have cleared this. I've lost count. Like the starting center on the team. And then my next official is DeAndre Melton over 18.5 points plus rebounds. And then Rudy Gobert over 13.5 points tonight.
Got it. Okay. Hey, best of luck, Cam. Hope you cashing, bro.
Respect, man. Good luck to everybody out there.
Absolutely.
Let's keep cashing.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Let me kick it to Ace real quick and then get to my guy Finesse. What's up, Ace? How you doing, bro? I might have requested and didn't even know he was trying to request. Ace, you got anything you want to share with the people?
Hey, brother. Thank you for having me on here.
Absolutely, bro.
Dropping gems for the community. My one play that I just really feel strong about. I feel like I came on here last time you gave it. This is my old Ingram either, so I just think that the Nets are going to win by a layup. And I know that FanDuel's scared because it went from half a point to negative 1.5. So that says something right there, you know?
Yeah.
And that's my take.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I actually had that written down too. It's on my short sheet that I think I left upstairs. I don't think I brought it downstairs with me. Like it. Couldn't talk you off of it. One thing I was looking at in that game though, Ace, is that the Pelicans start pretty strong at home as well. We know that Kyrie and KD are, they really, really bad boys. But I could still see I could see it going both ways, which is one of the reasons why I kind of stayed off. But couldn't talk you off of it, man. If you like it, play it. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, man. That and one more thing, that and the solo over too. It's just like it's been like a really good trend. Like, for example, the last game, when they played Chicago, the solo over for the Nets was 30.5 at negative 130, and then it went up to 31.5. And I swear to God, I was watching this because I put $100 on it. I was on a straight bet. They had 27 points with a minute left. I don't know if anybody was watching that game the first quarter. Kevin Durant came and hit a three, and he got doubled, found Seth for a three, and then he found Seth again when he got doubled, and found Seth for another three. So it's on 9 points in 1 minute. So, even if you're like a little shaky on the money line, look at the solo over, and take it live if they don't start straight, because they're going to clear 30 points too. That's a fact. I'm telling you right now, they're going to clear 30 points. I don't know what the solo over is at right now.
29.5 is juiced to the over too.
You see, like that. You see, like that. That's clean. And like I said, Chris, they had 27 with a minute left, and then they got 34 in a minute on the Chicago game. So they can do that. That's just easy money for them. I'm talking about Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and Claxton when Kevin gets doubled. So I don't think 30 points is really hard for them. But yeah, those are my takes.
Okay. Hey, best of luck, Ace. I hope you cash it, bro. Hope you cash it. Absolutely. Finesse the books. What's going on, my brother?
My guy, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. How you?
Chilling. I see a couple of our guys in the chat, MJC in the chat, YBB, RC, my man Vaughn in the chat. So I hope everybody's doing good.
The legends, Finesse. They need to get up here, bro. Got me talking all the time.
That's a fact. But yeah, I'm sick as fuck today, so I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. A couple things we're on. My man MJC in the chat. We got a collab that we dropped on Twitter. So in case you guys want kind of the full rundown. Giannis 5 assists and the Bucks money line. That's minus 125 on a couple of books. Heavily correlated to big wins from Milwaukee. 36 out of the last 40 Milwaukee wins by 10 plus. He's covered 5 assists in. Great history versus Charlotte, 6 plus and 7 in his last 8 versus them. He's coming off a game with 12, 13 potential assists. I know Drew's back, but we still like him to get that done. So really good value there. Let me get to my other shit. I'm on Anthony Simons over 21.5 points. I bet him last game. He didn't hit. I'm going right back to it in another good matchup against the Pacers. It should be fast paced. Pacers allow a really high percentage from 3. They allow teams to make a lot of threes. And they've been terrible guarding the shooting guard position, especially from 3, which we know is Simon's specialty. So hasn't covered last game, and his line actually went up a full point. So I think that's telling as well. So over 21.5 points for him. I'm on Keldon Johnson without Vassell. He's been an absolute wagon, and now without Vassell, and now facing one of the worst defenses in the league. So I took him for 25 plus points, minus 110 on FanDuel. What else we got? And then Russ over 31.5 PRAs from your boys in the purple and gold. A lot of guys out. Reeves is out. Who else is out? I'm blanking because I'm sick as fuck.
Lonnie Walker's out. Troy Brown's out. Everybody except Bron and Schroeder, pretty much.
Yeah, and I hate that Schroeder and Pat Bev is still probably going to start, but yeah, I think he's going to have a day. So I also sprinkle his triple double at plus 1100. So I like the PRA at 31.5. That's minus 109 on Caesars. And then not sure what the odds are now, but I sprinkled the triple double at plus 1100 on Barstool. So Westbrook over 31.5 PRA. Keldon Johnson 25 plus points. Anthony Simons over 21.5 points. And then my collab with MJC is Giannis 5 plus assists and the Bucks to win.
Fire, Finesse. Okay, I might get there with you. I still want to look at that Laker game. I don't think I'm gonna touch the spread, so I might get there with you with the Westbrook PRAs, man. not a lot of rim protection, as we know, for Atlanta without Clint Capella being down there. So he should be able to, get there, increase role even more without AD being there, of course, but now also without a guy like Austin Reeves, who, makes a tremendous impact on, on the Lakers, just being able to rebound the ball, assist, kind of do the things that Austin Reeves does. Do the things that, do the things that Austin Reeves does. So I like that one, Finesse. I might get there on Westbrook too. Yeah, I'll probably end up getting there with Westbrook as well. I typically cap those late games a little bit later. So love the looks from my guy Finesse. Get well soon, bro. I hope you're feeling better. Get you some, some Theraflu, all the stuff you told me. Get you some tea, some honey, some lemon. Seep that stuff real good. And don't scream too much, man. Your Celtics not playing tonight, so you shouldn't be screaming at the TV. You should, take it light, bro.
I appreciate you, bro. I hope everybody can have a good one.
Absolutely, bro. You too. Let me get to Ben real quick. And let me get Denzel up as well. Ben, you connected? You in the blender, Ben. You in the Matrix. Can you hear me? Yeah, you good. You good now?
There we go. Hey, how you doing, Chris? Sorry, I was getting on late. Life's been in the way a little bit last couple days.
It's all good, bro. What you got? What you liking tonight, Ben?
I still got to cap it because we just got that recent news with Jalen Smith out. But with Jalen Smith out, I love Jeremy Grant tonight. I got to make sure I really love it. But I've come on here and talked about it before. The Pacers, they really, really lack size with athleticism other than Miles Turner. And Turner's going to obviously have his hands full with Nurkic down low. I just think Grant's going to bully whoever they got at the four. Right?
Okay.
I like using that word fake center and fake forward. Neesmith is a fucking fake forward, bro. Like, that ain't a power forward. Jeremy Grant's going to do what he wants, So I really like him tonight. The other one, I don't know if Cam came on here and said it because he and I were kind of messaging back and forth about it. Did he talk about Brunson tonight or no?
No, I left that for you. I'm on it.
There we go.
We're
gonna go back to the OG blender. We're taking Brunson's under 23.5 points.
Yeah, I co-signed that 100%. I just wanted Ben to give it that because he brought it.
OG's the man. He's the best on-ball defender for me in the association. Brunson's gone over 2 games in a row, and Vegas hasn't moved his prop up an ounce. I think that says a lot. Last time they played, OG put the clamps on him. I think he finished with 8 points. And I think he might have only had like 1 or 2 points in the first half. So if you got first quarter, first half looks available on books, like that might even be a good one too. Just to double or like take almost like a mini trifecta spot on Brunson unders. But I just don't see it tonight with Brunson. He's not a perimeter threat. He's not an awesome threat at the basket. He relies a lot on mid-range. And OG's length and athleticism for me is just going to be too much for Brunson to get up over that 24, which quite frankly he doesn't even average 24 points a game. So I know he's been in good form lately. There's a reason they haven't moved his prop up. There's a bunch of guys on the team who have better matchup than him, including Julius Randle. I think Randle has a good night tonight. I think Quickly has a good night tonight. He's going to get that probably soft matchup with Van Fleet. So I just see Brunson as having one of the worst. This is his worst matchup he'll have of the season, and he also has the worst matchup on the team. So I love me some Jalen Brunson unders. And then Cam, you talk about Brook Lopez or no?
Nah.
So I'm gonna be taking Brook Lopez's over on rebounds. I'm gonna give Cam credit. All right, someone tried to call me. I'm going to give Cam credit for Brook Lopez over rebounds. He messaged me right before the game the other night. Lopez hit his rebounds prop in the first quarter the other night. They're going up against Charlotte. He's obviously got a really good matchup here. Center's been eating on the boards against Charlotte. I got plus money earlier today. I think it's down to minus 110 on some books for 6.5 rebounds. He might get there in the first half of this one. So that's what I'm rocking with tonight.
Okay. Jeremy Grant over 21.5. Yep. Brunson under 23.5. Couldn't talk anybody off of whoever OG ends up guarding. And then Brook Lopez over 6.5 rebounds.
No doubt about it. There we go.
Okay. Hey, best of luck, Ben. Sound like 3 good plays to me, man.
No doubt. You too, bro.
Absolutely.
So just real quick on the Brunson thing, because a lot of people are probably going to be like, well, is OG going to be on him?
Last game that they played, it took about 3 minutes before that was the primary defender. So OG won't start on it. I promise you that, but it doesn't take long for OG to switch off.
Probably Gary Trent, right, Cam, for the start?
It'll most likely be Gary Trent on him with Fred on whoever the other guys. And then what happens is Gary Trent will switch off pretty quickly. They'll hide Gary Trent. Like, not that he's a bad defender. It's just like Gary Trent, you like to use him in the offense and make sure he plays the passing lanes a lot. But straight up, it'll be OG.
And just to add on to that too, like that was one of OG's first games back. They're probably trying to figure out the best formula to get Brunson. So it probably ain't gonna take any less time to get OG on him. If anything, it'll go quicker, I would assume, right, Cam?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's pretty quick. It's just like Nick likes to do that, so they'll misdirect, and then it happens almost every game. We've been talking about OG never starts on the best player, and then after like about a minute or two, he locks him up. He did it to Kawhi. He did it to John Morant. He did it to Brunson. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. The unders on whoever OG's guarding typically is a good look.
And Halliburton also too. He did that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we got some pretty good looks all together, man. I didn't have the most amount of looks. I got some stuff, like I said, kind of written down that I haven't placed yet, but the Bulls are official play for me. Real quick, while we still got, about 30, 45 minutes. So, just 5 minutes. I don't know if you guys – I haven't really heard anybody talk too much about I know Ace talked about a first quarter play that he was on. Anybody got any first quarter, first half plays that they like? Like any of this? Oh, let me kick it to Denzel. My fault. Denzel, I got you up. Didn't even ask you what your plays were. What up, bro? What up, Denzel? How you doing, bro? What you got?
Oh man, chilling, man. I'm on Vucevic, man. I took his rebounds, man. Took it up to 12. I got it at 10.5 last night. Took it up to 12, and at a plus 120 or something like that. I mean, for obvious reasons, there's no Embiid, whatever case may be. Pascal Siakam, man, I think I usually typically just jump on his motherfucking rebounds and assists, whether it's like right now it's at 13.5. I think he could get there. He averaging 15 or 16 rebounds and assists on the season. So anytime I can see it, I catch it at this number at 13.5. I'll jump on. I got it at minus 120 late last night. A strong lead for me is probably gonna be the points for Fred VanVleet. I think if he gets suspended of Brunson, I think and he's taking double-digit threes. His point guard was sitting at 18.5. So I just came, I couldn't help myself with that one. I jumped on that, so I took that at 18.5. And all things for Aziz, for sure. I mean, you might get Kuzma matched up with Dort. He's a big, and with the offense going through him, it's not just going to be like any other type of big. The offense is going to be going through him and Kuzma. So I think his point prop. Oklahoma City, they give up blocks too, man, and I think he's averaging 2 blocks, or 1.5 blocks and 1 steal. So took a 2.5 blocks and over 2.5 blocks to steal on 5 6. But I love for Vegas tonight. I just think this is a really good spot for him. OKC is in there near the bottom of everything. I wanted to take a stab at I'm waiting on AJ news for Larry Nance and Darius Garland. I might have to take a live bet on Darius Garland. These if people can find a way to stick around, at least offensively, this is another thing. Give it up to the point guard, man, in multiple categories. So that's one thing that I was looking at too, and I wanted to go to Jonas Valanciunas. If Larry Nance is out, I think he can get a little bit more playing time in that regard. So those are some looks that I put some money on, and what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, best of luck, Diz. I hope you cash him, bro.
Yes, sir.
Let me see. Hey, Rob, you connected? I don't think so. I was trying to get Rob up real quick. Anybody got any? I don't. I just realized I don't really got a first quarter or first half look, and there's a lot of games on tonight. Anybody see a spot that they want to take advantage of tonight as far as first quarter, first half? I think the primary look so far for me would probably be looking at Denver. I talked about Denver first quarter, just catching catching this Cleveland Cavalier team on the first game of a West Coast road trip, but Midwest without their primary ball handler. I think Denver first quarter is -1.5. I like that look a lot. Just haven't placed that bet yet. And then I'm also looking at go ahead, Mitch.
Yeah, so Denver, just to speak on that, Denver's net rating, defensive and offensive net rating, equals out to first in the first quarter over the last 10 games. And sorry, who are they playing again? I just remember the numbers. Who are they playing?
Cleveland, without Donovan Mitchell. 16.
Yes, sir. Net rating over the last 10 games in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think that's written down on my short sheet.
Mitch. Play that I was looking at for first quarter was Chicago Bulls team total. I believe it's set around 28, and they're hitting their last 10 games. I think it was 31 points or so. So they're clearing that by a good 3 points. Versus a 76ers team whose pace is going to be up without Embiid and with little to no interior presence. I think that the Chicago Bulls are able to get their points tonight nice and early.
I like it. I'm looking at that right now, Mitch. I see the Bulls have gone over 7 of their last 10 games over their first quarter total. So that's a 75% cover. 70% cover rate right there. I like that, Mitch. I hadn't thought about that. I'm already on the Bulls, but I don't know if I want to double dip or not. But I like that look. I like that look a lot. What about the Bucks? Anybody on the Bucks first quarter total over against Charlotte that's giving up whatever it is that you want? Just kind of curious.
I did play Bucks first quarter. What was it? Outright to be winning after every quarter.
Oh, so like wire to wire?
And that was like a minus 110 or something, minus 115.
Wire to wire. Okay.
So as long as the Bucks win first quarter and hang on to it, then
you catch that. Yeah. Okay. I like that one. I like that one a lot, man. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I like that spot a lot. I like the Bulls spot a lot. I think those are probably my favorites. The Bulls and the Denver Nuggets. Looking at those two spots specifically. Vaughn, can you hear me? Nah, I don't think you're getting connected, Vaughn. I don't think you're connected, my guy. Yeah, but I've been on for an hour and 20 minutes, man. I think that's well. Vaughn, can you hear me?
Chris,
No, you did. What's up, Mitch?
Chris, one quick one. Do you have that first quarter spreadsheet in front of you?
I do have it. What's up?
I remember today I was looking at, I don't know if it was Wizards spread or Wizards team total, but there was something that was I believe the Wizards spread was something that was very. 1 second, I'm sorry.
21-18 to the first quarter. Wins and losses.
Yeah, I think it might have been OKC's recent performance in the first versus Washington's offensive performance in the first. But either or, it was something I was looking at. Sorry to bring that up, waste your time.
No. Not
if you're able to see it, just quickly.
Yeah, no. I'm there with you because we know one thing about the Wizard. One thing about the Thunder is they typically have to fight back in the third quarter. So I'm gonna write that one down. Look at that one a little bit more too. I know that the game doesn't start at 10:10. So at 7:10. So Wizards first quarter, Nuggets first quarter, Bulls first quarter. Even though I probably won't double dip there. Okay. No, I like it. I like it a lot, man. But yeah, I think, like I said, I think that's more than enough time. Hour 25, hour 30 minutes in the books. Way more than enough time. Official plays for me. What did I talk about? I talked about the Bulls. The Bulls I'm on today. Plus the 4.5. I think the spread came down to 4. It's back up to 4.5 again. Looking at the team total under for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just because they are without Donovan Mitchell and he's a big part of their offense. Darius Garland has not been officially ruled out yet, but I don't know if he's going to play. He was at shoot around earlier with his hand wrapped. So not 100% sure. If he does play, I like it even more because it'll be his first game back on the West Coast in Mile High, which we know what that, typically does to teams, having to take that travel. And it'll be his first game back. So I expect the offense to be out of sync. They don't have a lot of playmakers and ball handlers on that team outside of him and Karis LeVert. So I really like that spot a lot tonight as well. Probably going to ride with my guy Finesse on the Westbrook PRAs over the 31.5. I like that spot a lot. And I think I'm not sure who mentioned it last, but I know Dream, you said you was on it. Looking at Porzingis, because somebody talked about Kuzma, probably end up drawing Dort with no Bradley Beal. So if Kuzma gets Dort, who Lou Dort is a pretty good defender, it should be a Porzingis night, as long as he don't come out there, get injured or anything like that. I like Porzingis tonight. So those are probably my top looks. Like I said, nothing. I don't want to go too crazy on a night like tonight, but if I do, do a little more research and find something I like, whether it's live or one of these later games, I'll end up tweeting it out. If it's something that I really really like. So that's what I got for you guys today, man. Best of luck to everybody on their bets. Like I said, an hour and I was about to say 120 minutes. An hour and 20 minutes in the books. In the show, like I always do, man. None of this is financial consultation. It's all theory and logic and trends, SDQL and eye test and all those good things, man. Best of luck to you guys. Bet with your head, not over it until we gather again. I'm out.